Hello, hello. Today I'm going to share with you guys a little bit more about my journey and how I've gotten to, being the muscle mommy and having this platform. I had a few people ask about my journey, and so I thought I'd share it. I plan to create a video breaking down like how my body's changed over the years and, my struggle with binge and restrict. But today's video, I just kind of want to share with you a little bit about me and how, again, I got to where I'm at now. I cannot emphasize enough how grateful I am for the constant kindness and support. I would not have this platform. I would not be where I'm at today if it wasn't for all of you guys. Especially thank you to all of the people I've coached over the past few years, because it's really just fueled my light. Like, that's why I chose this path. And not only that, but that support is the only reason I've been able to pursue bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is an insanely expensive sport, and it takes up my entire life, my headspace, everything, especially when I'm in prep. And again, I just would not be in the position I'm at now if it wasn't for all of the kindness and support. So whether you've been here for a short amount of time or been here since the beginning, thank you. My journey with fitness actually started from a pretty young age. I grew up in a competitive household. I'm the fourth of 5 kids, and we were always out playing sports, playing wiffle ball, football, whatever it was. We also had a community pool in our neighborhood, so I would spend the summers there. They had like a little swim team, and I was a butterflyer, a freestyler. My mom always encouraged us to get into sports, and it was just a huge part of my life. There was something about swimming and running in particular that gave me a sense of freedom. Like, the second I dove into the pool, it was just me doing my thing, giving it everything I had, pushing my absolute limit. And that thrill really hit my soul. By the time I got to high school, I was swimming year round. I was doing the whole 5 a.m. practice thing, working out tons, doing conditioning, a little bit of lifting here and there, nothing crazy, but I really pushed my limits, and I loved the thrill of just pushing my absolute limits. Then I got to high school and I started playing field hockey. Field hockey was such a fun sport, and it was one that required a lot of strength because you're basically squatting and running the entire time. And I was incredibly blessed to be introduced to the weight room. My coach was such a strong woman and an amazing mentor, and she helped us build these foundations and teach us how strength can really come into play with sports, and how you can improve your ability to run and, accelerate with speed and push those limits, build that endurance with that conditioning. I found a new kind of love. It was similar to that swim where it was like you're giving it everything you have, and you get to watch how you improve over time. And I really enjoyed that. I loved the sense of accomplishment where I felt like I had conquered a workout, right? I'm dripping in sweat. I gave it everything I had, pushed my absolute limits. It unlocked something inside me. It wasn't just about competing against my siblings. It wasn't just about competing in my sports. It was about competing against myself. Senior year, I became co-captains with one of my best friends, and it was such a fun experience. I played center mid, and it was just constantly moving. Like, the whole sport of field hockey is squatting and running the whole time. And center mid, you're like running the field. I loved it. It was so much fun. That same year, I took a class in high school that got you certified as a NASM personal trainer, and that was one of my classes. So I was taking like all APs for my other classes, and then this one class, which was like my break in the day, my easy class, I was learning the science of exercise and prepping for this NASM exam. It was such a unique opportunity. Like, no other high school in the area offered this class, and the county would pay for you to get your certification. Around that same time, I started taking some of my girlfriends to the gym, and some of those girlfriends didn't have that foundation with lifting, and I got to teach that to them, right? I'm taking this class, I'm applying it, and little did I know that that impact would come back to me down the line. I was just having fun. I was having a good time. Like, y'all know, like, when you get a good friend in the gym and you guys both get to push and just have fun and chat it up a little bit, it's a fun experience. And I was really lucky to have formed that at such a young age. But with this NASM course that I was taking, I never really thought that it would be like a full-time job or, I'd get into the coaching world. I was like, okay, this could be like a great part-time job in college. It pays like $20 an hour. This is a pretty good gig. I'm pretty lucky. I love working out. I love the gym. I'm gonna do this in college. So I got into the University of Virginia and I planned to major in biology and get involved in research. I actually had a job as a junior in high school where I was getting paid to help take care of a 100-year-old lady. That's a story for another time, but that woman stays close to my heart. And I used to help her with her physical therapy exercises, all kinds of things. Again, a story for another time, but one that really shaped who I was going to be from an early age. Anyway, I thought maybe I'd go to med school after college, maybe go that route. And I was personal training at my school gym and at this small boutique studio throughout my undergrad. It was such a crazy experience because not only was I training people my age, young people, athletes, grad students, I was training like 70 to 80-year-olds, even older than that, a few 90-year-olds. And in particular, at this small boutique studio, I was watching 70-year-olds go through double hip replacements, having to learn to walk again, and then doing box jumps. And I was like, what? I had such great mentors, especially at this small boutique style studio. One of them being somebody who used to be a PT tech, and she taught me how to apply principles of physical therapy in a trainer's scope. Watching my clients reduce pain and strengthen their bodies filled my entire life. Like, I had people come back to me who were like, I used to wake up every 30 minutes in the middle of the night because of the pain I was experiencing, and you helped me remove that pain. Like, I only wake up maybe once in the middle of the night, if that. And I help people with their relationship with food. And I helped provide this balanced approach that could be integrated into their life for the long term. It filled my entire life. I cannot emphasize enough how fulfilling of an experience that was. My freshman year of college, I really started to struggle with my body image. I got into a big running phase. I would do a lot of distance running, and I'd pair it with under eating, and I got to some of the smallest weights I've been in my life. I still lifted with that, but it was more secondary to support my running. I'd spend hours doing cardio, and this running and under eating, I thought it gave me a sense of control, thinking it was what I needed for that mental release. I didn't have the confidence to take up space. But everything changed once COVID hit. I went back home, I was still trying to do all this running and under eating, and then I started developing stress fractures in my feet and various other injuries that made me have to slow down. I had to completely rethink my relationship with fitness and self, and lifting became that main priority. I found a lot of empowerment through the strength I was able to build, and I started making workout videos. At that small boutique style studio, I learned how to use training as well, again, to support running, to help work through imbalances that would develop, because running is a lot on the body. You can structure your training in a way to really support that, build that strength, minimize the potential for imbalances. So anyway, I used all of this knowledge and I started creating exercise videos here and there. I created my first fitness account and was capturing my growth with my fitness journey. So then COVID gets to a more neutral point. I go back to school. I'm there for about a semester, and then I found out my mom had a brain tumor, and it changed my entire life. I had to leave college behind. I had to leave my jobs behind. I had to leave my friends behind, everything. My main responsibility became caring for my mom. And at 20 years old, that's a big ask. I was so incredibly lucky that I had turned back to lifting as this main focus prior to taking care of my mom, because working out kept me sane. Lifting, showing up for myself helped me maintain a little bit of that sense of presence, and like I could feel strong enough to show up into the world. I lost presence. I lost my sense of self in that experience, and I lost my ability to relate to the people around me, because by the time I went back to school, it was incredibly frustrating, because I'm watching all of these people get pissed drunk, and I all of a sudden like can't relate. I can't feel seen. For me, I just felt so misunderstood and lost, like nobody could ever understand what I had just gone through. So while caring for her, I continued to post on that original fitness account where I had been documenting my journey, and I ended up using it to write workout plans, because I had left my jobs behind, and now it was taking care of my mom and doing school online. And so I'm writing workout plans for friends of friends, one of them being somebody I had brought into the gym in high school. Little did I know that that impact, that experience alone would change my entire life. And I'm gonna come back to that, but I continued writing workout plans, and one of these individuals, I wrote workout plans throughout the year. So then my mom gets better and I go back to school, and I had switched my major to kinesiology because I was like, I love training. This is so awesome. This is one of my passions. I think I'd do great at physical therapy. So I actually ended up graduating in 3 years because I was so burnt out. Again, so tired of the college scene, not being able to relate to anybody. I just put my head down and I worked and I did school, and that was my life. My binge restrict patterns really started to develop there. I was processing taking care of my mom and that whole experience for the first time. And not only that, I was terribly harassed at my job as an RA my last year. And I just started binging to cope. I felt so out of control, so misunderstood. I got promoted from an RA to running a building because somebody had gotten fired and nobody wanted this position. On the third day of moving into the apartment for the person that runs the building, the position I'm walking into, I had a kid throw up down my door. So I had lost my sense of home after the whole taking care of my mom experience, and I continued to not have a sense of home. Again, feeling terribly misunderstood. They thought I was like some strict RA and whatever, even though like that wasn't why I did the job. I helped a lot of women through sexual assault experiences and a lot of really hard experiences that you face as a young adult in college. It filled my light to be able to show up and support people. I ended up quitting that job, come into my last semester. I'm so burnt out. I'm like, I want to get the F out of here. I managed to graduate in 3 years, and in that last semester, I was like, I have no idea how I'm going to go into physical therapy school after this. Like, I don't have it in me. I'm so burnt out. And one of the women that I wrote workout plans for throughout the year, the friend of the friend, sends me this message and is like, you have no idea how much you changed my life. I lost like 30 to 40 pounds this year, became president of my sorority, did a complete 180 of my life, and you were such an important person in that journey. You have no idea how grateful I am for you. And I was taken aback. I had never met this girl before, and now she's somebody I keep very close to my heart, always keep in contact with her. She's an important part of my journey. I thought, well, this is actually a passion. I know I told myself I could never do this as a full-time job, never could imagine it, but what if I did? Like, I actually find a lot of joy in this. It doesn't feel like a job. So instead of going straight into school, I said, I'm gonna give myself a year. Make my coaching business happen or figure it out. But I'm gonna give myself the year. So I started posting every day, like 3 times a day on TikTok. I was consistent, and I was putting my heart out there, sharing my story, my struggles with binging and restricting, and a lot of people listened, and I started getting more people who I was training hour to hour. I also got involved in bodybuilding because I knew if I had the knowledge of bodybuilding, as well as if I looked the part, I might have a chance. So I got a coach. I started the meal plan lifestyle. Like, I ate the same thing every day for about 8 months. And I completely changed my body. I learned so much in the process. Thought I was gonna prep. Didn't end up prepping because I messed up my relationship with food. That binging came back up because I hadn't fully processed a lot of that stuff. By the time my lease was up, I had visited my brother in Florida, and I thought, I could do this. I think this would be really great for my personal growth to live somewhere new. I had been thinking about that, but I hadn't had enough money at the time. Barely had enough money to move at the time either, but I took a huge risk. I rented a 12-foot U-Haul, put everything I owned in there, had my cat in my front seat, and I drove a total of 13 hours to Florida and moved in that next month. I thought bodybuilding wasn't for me. I thought I was too damaged. I thought that I would never have a strong enough relationship with food and self. I had a lot of self-limiting identities that made me think bodybuilding wasn't for me, especially because I had tried and I failed. Come winter time after moving, I found somebody who really empowered me and was like a base for me. And he started coaching me and training me in person and eventually prepping for the show that I recently competed in. And then I found out he had never prepped somebody before, and a lot of the things that he was having me do cardio-wise and food-wise, because I wasn't allowed to add salt to my food. Again, my entire journey has been captured on this platform, so if you want to check out those videos, you can. But it affected my cortisol. I stopped losing weight, and I started binging. So at 6 weeks out from my show, I binged, which is really bad. And like, my body was just craving the salt of all things. I was having really negative symptoms, whatever, and I ended up switching coaches. So Sam, the one that I'm working with now, she's just been phenomenal. She helped me address my cortisol levels and electrolytes. And then I competed in my first show ever, the Dexter Jackson, and did figure and women's physique. Ended up winning women's physique, which was a really cool experience. I dropped 20 pounds in 5 weeks for that show. Like, I was eating nothing and I gave everything in me to step on stage. And I've discovered one of my greatest passions. Like, I love women's physique posing, and that feeling of stepping up on stage after trying and failing, like, I get shivers talking about it. Like, it freed my soul. I was so far from perfect, and I still showed up. And I'm so incredibly grateful because my family was there and they got to see what I had been trying to do for so long. Like, they actually understood it. It wasn't just, oh, this is an eating disorder kind of thing. It was like, wow, she's been fighting for this. And it was a really cool experience. Now, my mission, which has been consistent throughout this journey, but the primary focus right now is to continue to help people find their balance. I'm healing, I'm working on my coaching business, I'm bodybuilding still, and I'm sharing my experiences so hopefully somebody else can feel less alone in the process. I want people to know they don't have to do this alone. We're all trying to figure out our balance, and we're battling self-doubt throughout the process. That's why my business is called Building Balance. I want to remind people that fitness can fit in your life. Balance is possible, where you can make progress to your goals and still enjoy life. Because no matter where you're at in your journey or in life, life will always be full of all these twists and turns. Whether you one day find out you have to be a caregiver and you have all these additional responsibilities, or you're a parent and you're having to manage not only your kids' needs, your spouse's needs, your family's needs, you know, you still have to take care of yourself. And what you decide to make fitness, whatever your why is for making a change, you gotta keep it close to your heart. Because when you have those moments of self-doubt, you have to remind yourself why you're on that path. And that, again, it's not all or nothing. You can make progress to your goals and still make the time, make the space to enjoy life. Progress is realistic, but perfection is not. So looking at this next year, I'm laying the groundwork down so that I can continue to compete with bodybuilding. I really want to continue with women's physique and figure and continue to compete naturally. With that being said, prep is something that takes up my entire life. I'm working on hiring my co-coach, Rachel, who is going to help me so that I can make sure that I'm providing as much as I can and really supporting the people that I work with coaching. I'm teaching her the same philosophy of building balance that I hold close. Fitness is more than physical. It's about fostering a healthy relationship with food, with self, with your goals, no matter what phase of your journey you're in. So please stay tuned. In the next month or so, I'm gonna release my official plans, but I just wanted to say thank you again for all the kindness and support. I'm truly blessed to be able to inspire a lot of you guys and leave a positive impact through my platform. And I wouldn't have the voice, I wouldn't have the ability to do this if it wasn't for all of you guys. This journey is about lifting each other up, building resilience, and showing that this lifestyle with fitness is for everyone. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit more about my journey. Stay tuned in some of the videos to come as I plan to break down my full journey fitness-wise and the plans for this next year. But I will see you next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time.